Yo, what it do? What it do? What it do? I think we have arrived. We have arrived. So today is August 12th, and we're back with a nice Monday stream. So we got some new developments, some things that we see continuing to matriculate as the cycle goes on. Altcoins are seeing a little bit of pump, like a mini pump, versus Bitcoin, and mainly Ethereum is deciding to want to go up on its dominance. So we'll see if we see some follow through, but I want to talk today about how to get better at choosing altcoins. There's thousands to choose from. How do you choose ones that are going to be beneficial for your portfolio on a risk-adjusted return? Now, in this journey that we've talked about several different things. Altcoins are things that I do encourage people to take a look at and to accumulate, but I don't encroach on saying that every altcoin is just the best thing that you should be buying. No, I say there's a select few after a good amount of research that you need to put in. But today I want to show you guys sometimes that there are ways to compare altcoins versus each other, not necessarily based upon maybe some of the aspects on the coin, but even just in regards to honing in on just the technicals of it, right? So comparing chart to chart. And one thing that I'm actually gonna do this week for those that are in the Patreon is I'm gonna give you guys my guide to choosing after I've done my 20 to 40 hours of research on a coin, and I'm on the fence between this one and that one. I'm gonna show you guys the methodology on what helps me make my decisions, alongside with all the tools that I put in the invite only scripts for you guys, right? We got the Hatter, we got the Fear and Greed Index, we got all kind of stuff that we utilize to help us know that we're buying a local bottom or a local basin in price. But at the same time, there's a methodology to give you some comparison just from chart structure that I've been doing for some time, and it's really helped to really get the front runners, because at the end of the day, the general market will trend, right? Bitcoin will trend, Ethereum will trend, and the altcoins will trend subsequently thereafter or close in proximity to when those two are trending. But with that being said, not all altcoins appreciate at the same rate as others, right? And then at the same time, there's also more risk to certain altcoins than others, right? Depending on market cap, inflation rates, X, Y, and Z. So compiling all that stuff together, we need to learn how to compare and contrast. And I don't think that many people on YouTube talk about how to compare and contrast altcoins at all. It's a deep value skill set to have. I'm sharing that with those in the Patreon. I'll give a little brief intro to that here on YouTube, but yeah, for sure. So let's get into it. Welcome in. Appreciate y'all for coming through. And we got Large and In Charge first. Dubs with the number one person in the chat was good. We got Sal. What it do? Got Art. We taking off, baby. There's some coins that are going off and one thing that's so those in the Patreon, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been voicing, hey, I'm actually structuring a sample portfolio. So for all of those people that might be new, and why I suggest you guys join the Patreon, because when I was new to crypto, I'm like, man, I don't know how to go about this. Like, when are the times to do things? When shouldn't I? What coin to even look at? All that stuff. I didn't know. But for example, I'm doing a sample portfolio in the Patreon on teaching people actually, hey, this is how you actually buy something in DeFi. So I have a sample video of, hey, how to actually buy PulseChain and PulseX. I have sample portfolio showing that, hey, this is how you buy a dip. So for example, and I got the receipts. I'm going to show you. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to show you guys the receipts. And mind you, it's a sample, so I'm just throwing a little change there, but I'm doing it to show that it doesn't matter how much money you guys got. When you become a savvy investor, when you know how to pinpoint different things through time, because you just got a good feel for the market, it's not getting it perfect, but you can grow your wealth. And so I'm doing it in a few $100 clips or $100 clip here and there. But look at how accurate these price points are now. And once again, I'm not saying, hey, you got to copy exactly what I'm doing, but I'm just going to show you that it's possible. You don't need a gazillion dollars to make really, really, really good gains for yourself, but you need strategy. You need a little bit of know-how, you need some patience, and you need some understanding, okay? And so that's what I do in the Patreon. Give you guys all of that compiled in a whole bunch of different types of videos to help your knowledge and understanding and how to be a crypto investor, okay? So I'll put a link to the Patreon later on. So first of all, first things first, let me pull up TradingView, but I also want to show some receipts for you guys, right? To let you know that I'm not swerve the dip in theory. It is for real. I live by this. When there's dip opportunities, when there's max fear, and everybody's like, I don't know, this could be it. No, you got to have the cojones to go in, do your DCA, no matter if it's $100, $1,000, whatever, 10,000. But that's how you keep a low cost basis. And I'm going to give you all an example of what that looks like. So let me show you guys some of these receipts if I can find them. They're somewhere around here. I'll pull them up here in a bit. But first things first, let's take a look and see. Let me see. I might have some receipts for you. Hold on. I got some other. Hold on. Let me see here if I could find some receipts. I'll get to them here towards the end of the stream. I'm going to look for them. But anyway, so first things first. Let's look at Ethereum. Now, when Ethereum seems to be pumping more than BTC, these are things that we need to notice. BTC is sitting right below $60,000. Ethereum is sitting right below $2,700. But if you find just the numbers and you look at them, so Ethereum's up about 4.8%. While Bitcoin is only up 2%. So it's a double on the percentage gain versus Bitcoin for today, at least, you know. So when I see stuff like that, because typically we've been seeing Ethereum just been chilling behind Bitcoin, kind of taking that back seat ever since the beginning of 2024. Now, when I see this variation flip, then that leads me to look at, okay, the ETH BTC ratio, the dominance. But then I also like to scour through and see, what altcoin? Oh, Phantom. Phantom is up 8%. Gala is up 8%. What's going on here? You know, we got Illuvium up 8%, IMX up 8%, Injective up 5%, you know, things like Link, Sama, even lackluster coins like Matic, you know, but even like Metis, y'all know how I feel about Metis, up 8%. You know, you got Near, we got Ondo up 8%. And I always got to keep some stocks on here too. So we got NVIDIA having a really good day, up 5%. Mind you, that's NVIDIA, that's a stock. So all through, we got Pendle up 11%, right? We got Say up 15%. So I start to see these double digit numbers and stuff and say I got Celestia up 16%. You know, we got Sui up 20%. So like this is not the normal day, for example, when it comes to altcoins outpacing Bitcoin this much and Bitcoin's just chilling. So we got a little mini altcoin pump. Now the key is, can we see some follow through? So let's take a look at Ethereum. We can do a little soft TA on this and get a good feel. So we got the Hatter up and we got the MACD. So the Hatter is up for those people that have the executive tier in the Patreon. You get access to this indicator. It's in the invite only scripts here. So you would go here, go to invite only. And so members of the Patreon, you get access to like these 12 beautiful indicators. And so we got the Hatter. Now, with that being said, we had a big buy signal for Ethereum. And the Hatter is really good at seeing momentum change. And so, okay, cool. You might have missed the $2,100, $2,200, low this week. You know, if you're paying attention to the market, you probably got it. But a safe buy saying, hey, actually momentum is carrying back to the upside was on this candle here. So that's about like, 2,300 and some change. We find ourselves at almost 2,700. So that's a nice little clip, right? We're below the 100-day moving average. We're kind of holding some support. But if we take the Hatter off briefly and we just gonna pop up, just some of the basic moving averages to keep in your memory bank, we have the 200 and we have the 50. Okay. And so one thing I want to look at is say, how much of a drawback did we have from this first liquidity push? And what you find is we are lining up just right about getting to that 786 on the wick. But where we find ourselves getting some support is actually where we had resistance previously here in January 2024. We're having a support just right here on this golden ratio. So that's actually a good thing. This is normal in crypto. This is a good sign, seeing that we've got a few days of support. What we want to see is for us to now go through these levels. So go through the 0.5, the 382, the 0.236, and then make our ways back to all-time highs while staying in this upwards trend. So the upwards trend stayed intact even with this wick. It hit it on the nail. So if anybody's like, oh, we're going in a bear market, we can't really start to quantify that and give that any legitimacy until we have a big break of this trend and we have, 2-3 weeks of closes below this trend consecutively, then we may entertain like, okay, we might be going into a elongated bearish phase. I'm not going to say a full bear market, that could be a whole year, but a bearish phase could be, 2 months of where we're like, hey, we're going down for a little bit, but the trend is still intact. So that's the beautiful thing to see. Okay. Now, if we want to look at, hey, where are people positioned? We are going to take, once again, from this main liquidity push, we're going to go ahead and see, okay, a lot of people had some activity here. So we have the point of control right here at about, once again, 2,300 and some change. A lot of people said, hey, I like this price for Ethereum. A lot of activity on the buy side. So that's the blue side of this volume right here. So this is a volume weighted average where we're basically taking a specific time period and we're looking to say, okay, where do people interact with this coin the most? And what we find is there was a good amount of support. So people liked Ethereum's price here once again. Now we have a little bit of, or the next batch of activity for Ethereum was at this higher price point. So if you kind of look at that period of time, so that's the box. Now you kind of extend it out to the right. So where we will probably see a little bit more, sell side pressure, potentially some resistance, but probably some clear skies until we get to about $3,000 Ethereum. And so if you want to look at it from that opportunity to DCA, just until the point to where we start to see resistance, and that's barring if the S&P 500 is doing well, the NASDAQ continues to do well, you would have been able to, clock, somewhere around this range, about 2,300 and some change. And you would have a nice gain, like taking yourself up to about $3,000. That's a 25% gain at a very risk adjusted time period to DCA, y'all. So this is a beautiful thing to see. Some people don't get 25% in, we're talking about a whole year, and you have the opportunity in crypto to get a return like that. Once again, risk adjusted, buying out a local basin, and people are fearful, and you can get that in all of a week or two. So that's the beautiful part. Now let's pull up the MACD, and we've seen a big rush to the bottom side, and we have this on the daily. We haven't seen this much bearishness. I'm talking about people just dumping their Ethereum like, look, I don't want it, basically, is what they were doing. And I mean, hey, that's just part of it. There's always two sides of the trade, people that get it and the people that don't. I was definitely scooping coins. Like I said, I'm going to show you these receipts here. But, just trying to, get you guys to see we haven't been this low on the daily MACD since, we had the lows for Ethereum here in June of 2022. So just to let you know the severity, the significance, the magnitude of the drawdown that we just had, it was scary for a lot of people. But if you're to hold your water and even add to your portfolio, it's going to actually pan out through time to be a really good DCA. You're going to look back at it and be like, man, that was a really great DCA. Just like how, for example, and let's actually kind of make this a little clear, put this on something like the 3-day. So the Hatter's really good for the 3-day. We may actually see that, signal off for us here in a day or so. But, just like those feelings of when I DCA'd at these points here, where it's like, man, it was like, dang, Bitcoin's not really doing much. It's going sideways, just chilling. The moving average is going sideways. Nothing really getting me excited about it, but stuck to the script, right? DCA there. So that was that $1,500, $1,600 Ethereum buy. Beautiful. Some people wish that they can get that today. We got close, not quite. And same thing here, like how we had these buy signals were bouncing off the trend line. And so that was an easy thing for me to see, to go ahead and add to the bags there. And that's just Ethereum, okay? And so even on the 3-day, what we'll find is that we're starting to see, and we can zoom in here, we're starting to see that the red candles should be dwindling down. A lot of the times when you start to see these dwindling down, you see the moving averages follow, and then you'll see us go positive on the green side. And typically that means we have a stronger push to the upside, and that's going to be follow through for Ethereum. And that's a great thing because altcoins will trend and then in some cases outpace Ethereum during this time. So you want to be buying when this is on the negative or the red side. You don't want to be that person trying to DCA or get in at the top. So for example, how do we know if we're offsides? I use this term all the time. I used to play sports, play football for 20 years, right? So we're talking about offsides looks like DCAing at these points where you're starting to see these green bars fill up, and this is for any altcoin or any investment for that matter. You start to see these green bars fill up, and we'll just take the last three instances here, right? And so we can go to like December 2023, and we want to go ahead and what we'll find is all of these are times when Ethereum is not at a local basin, so we find Ethereum pushing 2,300, and that's after it, went from 1,500 to 23. So that's after you see Ethereum do a 50% gain, and then another time, the local high as of now, Ethereum went up to $4,000, and so you definitely would have been off size. But that's when people feel like they want to invest. They're like, "Oh man, I gotta get in." You feel the FOMO. FOMO is your worst enemy, you guys. So stack your cash, save it. You want to utilize these strategies that we're talking about, using the MACD, using the Hatter, using other indicators. Right? If you want to put on like the fear and greed indicator, for example, even today across the market, even stocks were at like a 24 or 25. We'll put this on the daily chart for Ethereum. And so, yeah, like we had touched down low. Like we got down to 5 for Ethereum at that moment in time on the 4th of August. Okay. And if that doesn't tell you the sentiments, and once again, not everybody got access to these indicators, but I mean, once again, for me, I noticed that we hadn't been that low since October, and October was a time where I'm like, man, I wish I could have got more. So I knew I wasn't going to make this, it's not a mistake, but I knew I was going to take extra action to make sure I get the butter from the duck, because we hadn't been this low in quite some time. And so there's Ethereum. Now let's check the chat. What altcoins are you guys interested in? I want to know. I have a batch that I am very, very convicted about, and I like to hear from you guys. So let's see here. Yeah, like some of those ones I mentioned, they should be familiar, right? So let's go. Cojones over intelligence. True, but sometimes it's nice to have both, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, gotta have some optimism in these markets, because if you don't, here, this is what I need to remind us of. Let me just pop this up on the screen really quick. So can we see this? This is key. All right. What comes next in this pattern? This is something I put on stream a long time ago, but this is to help those that don't understand time. Time is your best friend. The longer that you can invest, the better. You see a whole lot more green than you do red. So what does this tell us? We are in bull markets way more and way longer than bear markets. So yes, and this was kind of that time period. I don't know if y'all remember 2022, I was popping this up like, yo, like the back end's like, look, I know everybody's not feeling this. Still get down on this crypto, y'all. Like, please, please, please ring in the alarm bells. Get you some Solana, get you some Ethereum, all this stuff, even Bitcoin. And what you find out is, yeah, we've, this is the SP 500, but we've made a new high since this peak here, right? So since that peak. But then even past that, look at the trend through time. And this is going all the way back. We're talking about until, we're talking about the 50s. So we got 75 years of data almost, right? And yes, we're going to have these time periods where they get very scary, but there are blips on the radar over a lifetime. So your goal is you want to increase your net worth through your lifetime. And if the average person is living to be 70, 75, 80 years old, let's say you're 50, guess what? You still got time to make a difference, not only for yourself, but for those that are coming behind you. Reminding yourselves of what the trend is. Why does this look like this? This is because there's continual money printing every single year. These central banks are going to continue to run these deficits. Why? Because there's no other option for them. This is the system that we're in. Hey, welcome to the fiat system. So understand that. That's why the charts look like how they do. And 100%. Time is an average investor's best friend, allows up to climb up the ladder slowly. And that's the key. If you don't have scale, like if you don't have large quantities, then time is your best friend. And that's why, like in the sample portfolio, for my own personal portfolio, obviously I'm, probably going to be DCAing a bit more. I work, I got some cash flow coming in. I got some things coming. So I'm an investor, right? As you guys are too. But for the SAM portfolio, like, because I want to make it palatable for just everybody, what y'all will see is, $100 clip here, $150 here. To let you know anybody can do this. I'm talking about anybody that even works at McDonald's, for example. They can invest in crypto, and y'all will see. I'm gonna keep track of everything. I'm gonna put this on Excel spreadsheet, but y'all can actually see that, hey, from somebody that can just invest $100 here and there, but they do that for a year and a half, what you'll find is 2-3 years later, you'll still have a favorable outcome in terms of your net worth. And that's the key, okay? Net worth, your assets minus your liabilities. Get rid of the liabilities, build up your asset column. This is how you win the game, okay? And remember, if for y'all that don't understand the game, I have a stream that I did like 2 years ago called Understanding the Game. So go through the catalog of videos that I have. I forget what episode it is, and you'll see Understand the Game. It's just an audio file of me talking about this stuff. Helps you conceptualize what the goal should be for anybody that's starting to invest in crypto, but just in general, investing just in general, okay? So time is the key. Now, moving back, let's look at some of these, some of the topics that people have to talk about as SUI. Now, yes, you may be asking, did you invest in DCA and the SUI? In fact, I did. And like I said, I'm going to show you that receipt. I want to say it was on the 2nd. So, I had a feeling. I was like, man, we're in capitulation mode. And this is me not trying to get it perfect, but I had a DCA, right here. I want to say it was like 67 cents or something like that. But so on that DCA from this box, it's looking pretty nice, right? So things are looking pretty good, up 65%, which is great, from a short duration upwards trend. And if we really, really want to look at this, which is very nice, if we, we'll take off the header for now, we'll remove these moving averages just for a second. And what we can actually see is that, yes, it broke the trend. And that's actually a very good thing. Now, this coin does have a lot of inflation, y'all, and, they've got some people hyping it up. You've got to be honest. And so we see that happening. But if there's money to be made, there's money to be made. So I position myself here, and we'll see how that goes through time. The methodology was, hey, seeing that we're below this lower level of the extreme fear. So I was like, let's go ahead. I wasn't 100% sure when the turnaround was coming, but I did see it coming, and we've bounced back up. So what would be nice is just like how we had this moment where we had some expansion and we got to the upper part of the fear and greed index, and then we just throttled the top for a elongated period of time. That would be really nice, So it would be, in subsequent types of price action, it would be like, for example, you investing, right? Like investing here, and you're like, oh man, it goes lower. But then if you stick it through time, those months after, you find that from this point here, you would have went through and got a nice 372 3x on your money. And we're talking from, October to March, or February for that matter. So that's how we do it. We got to position ourselves. Another thing too, right? One thing that we've seen is this bullish divergence on the MACD. So we see that the down draws are getting less and less violence, but we did have a major, if you notice, we have these violent sell-offs for this, violent sell-off, right? But the MACD is, slowly, saying, hey, there's bid support. And now we flip positive. So we flip on the green side. So once again, we'll probably see, good 3, 4, 5 days of more positive price action for this coin. That's what it's looking like. But it'd be nice if we see continual price action where we see several batches of green. So several green candles. You have a little drawback along the way, but that's what we're looking for, an expansion from going. And the best part about it is, for the first time since April, we're about to go. And if we've got to have legs, that's the key. We've got to go past the midline. And so, we're on the precipice of that, going past the midline for these moving averages, and we'll see what that can turn into. So that's a nice sign for SUI with all the hype and all that kind of stuff. But yes, this is something that I did DCA into. The other coin that we DCA'd into for the portfolio was Ondo. So Ondo, this is basically saying, hey, I'm betting on BlackRock, and BlackRock, they are the only Bitcoin ETF holders that ain't sold none. So I'm like, So once again, and got this one DCA'd on the 5th, right? So on the 5th, I do remember that. And don't worry, those receipts are coming, y'all. I'm going to leave that for the end. So on the 5th, so I'm like, bet. I might have caught the local low. I believe I did. use all the tools, use the hatter, use all that beautiful stuff. And so, on this candle here, feeling really good. Same thing. We want to see some more follow through. So we have the fear and greed, really getting low on that extreme fear. Let's toggle that down. We have the MACD, curling over. So I was like, okay, that looks to be getting closer. And I've seen that these were pretty long. And so once again, you want to look at the severity under which like you see the down draw. So I'm sitting here comparing it to other times. And I was like, the only other time that we had more of a down draw in the lineage and the lifetime of this cycle was that first initial down draw off the high. Typically those are going to be violent. Those are the pullbacks. But I was like, okay, cool. And just time, it's about time because I start to also see the NASDAQ and SP starting to have some life off of that whole Japan situation. And so, from that DCA, and we'll see if we have some follow through. It's stagnated over the past few days. But from that DCA, it's probably up about like 12 to 15%. It's nice to see that we're not continuing to dump. So we're making a nice stand here. But obviously for this coin, we have a lot of price action in this band here between 70 cents and $1. So there's going to be some resistance. But if we do get a chance to pop out of there, that'll be great. If we want to look at just the volume profile from that instance, like right where we're trying to get through in liquidity is where the point of control is, about 83 cents. So yeah, I mean, it might take a little time. We wicked up to the top part. I don't know if y'all can see that. So, but it wicked up to the point of control. It got rejected. And so we want to see just a continual advancement. But to see momentum here, let's just turn this into Heikin-Ashi candles on the day. A little doji red candle. But the key is through the 3-day, we want to start to see some yellow candles in this case start to fill up. And when we have thick candle bodies like this period here or this period here, right, that's what you want. And so, I think this is something that is in its first cycle and has a great opportunity. Please do your research before you even think about it, right? What else can we talk about? So, let's see. Can you chart Hypercycle? It's a crypto. I've been DCAing into it, but I stopped when things started dropping. Honestly, it's hard to believe that we will still see new all-time highs on most crypto. Okay, so Hypercycle, is that on TradingView? Let's see. Hypercycle. It is. So it's on Mexi. Okay, so let's look at it. So we got basically a round trip, y'all. So it went up, it came down. The key is it corresponding with the rest of the market. So the rest of the market, and this is a part that I get a little frustrated with newer coins because it's a little rough because you see how this compression, there's like no decision on momentum on this. It's a hard read, but it's just been dying off. Now, if you remember on the 5th, right? So if we go back to our information, we had things that are tracking along with the market and performing just with a base of, just the general altcoin portfolio. If you want to look at the others chart, you will say, okay, like, hey, where's just the majority of crypto at in terms of altcoins? So we're looking at on August 5th, right? And let's actually put this on the daily. Most coins that had a recovery had a long old doji and they've come back up. The thing about this coin is it's kind of just trickled and kept going down. So that per se I don't like. If we want to look at it, we're right back here of where we had a lot of just sideways action. So you might catch some support here, but it's exceeded all the levels, even the 8.85 here. It was trying to hold some support here at 786, but then it just broke through. So it's not the sexiest chart, to be honest. It looks a little bit more like a falling knife. But yeah, like if we want to pull up some moving averages, what are they doing? So it's below the 50. Is it below the 200? It's definitely below the 200. And the other thing is we can look at the Bollinger Bands. Do we have any reprieve off of the Bollinger Band? Because with a lot of other coins that are actually recovering, this is still straddling the bottom. So this green portion of the Bollinger Band is still straddling the bottom of that. So just some basic TA. I'm not too happy with the chart structure. And possibly I think there could be some better options. But let's see, hey, what did it do during this time between May of 2023 and November 2023? And one thing that's kind of startling is that it did not make a new high in March of 2024. This high should be higher than that. So if October 2023 was best, because in October 2023, I don't know if you remember, that's when the altcoins start to take off. So why didn't this? So that's why we say we got to compare and contrast. It's very important to do that. But in its bullish phase, what did it do? It did 3x. So my honest synopsis of just looking at this, I think I would not be too excited to rush to buy this. In my opinion, you may see something I don't see. Maybe there's some other things in regards to the coin or the chain that it's on that gives us benefits. But from a TA standpoint, it's not looking too sexy. Okay, so there's that. Anything else? Any other request? Let's see. Been stacking up Phantom. Yeah. I mean, Phantom, I've been a big, long-time holder for Phantom. Hopefully we get that upgrade soon for Sonic, but up 8% for the day. But there we go. So, for example, there's a bounce back for Phantom. Let's actually dive in. So let's actually get the full chart, and let's put this on the weekly. So let's look at a longer-term view, okay? And we got to understand that the bullish phase for a lot of coins, typically at most you get a year. So we have a 4-year cycle. 3 of them years are going to be like, okay. And you'll get lucky if you get a full year for an altcoin. And it's really only 5 months, 5 to 7 months of just like straight just up, right? So if we're before that and we have something holding support, which Phantom is doing, we've gotten close, right? Like we've tapped this lower level 1, 2, 3 times. And after this bear market, definitely, 2 times. So here in November 2022 and then August of 2023, I've done so many streams on Phantom. So what I'm looking at on the weekly chart, which is a nice thing to see, is hopefully we start to see this dwindle down. And so we're starting to see, okay, these red bars like this, and then these red bars like this dwindle down, start to turn light red. And then when you start to see the moving average curl over, then this turns to green. And then that's when, okay, we'll probably see more up than we do down. And that's actually a good sign because technically, right, we still have higher lows. Like if we have a nice turnaround from this point here, that's a higher low from where we were. For Phantom, still sometime in 2025, I think the prospects for Phantom getting to like that $3, conservatively to that $12 range is well within reason. And for something that is, like a mid-major cap, you still have an opportunity still for a 7x from this point, you guys. And all that's doing is getting back to its previous all-time high. That's not even making new highs. And so something to think about. Really liked using the Hatter on this to really get some really deep value buys. So really had a good opportunity for Phantom at 24 cents. Once again, around 21 cents, here at about 26 cents. And then right here before October in 18 cents, all those were DCAs for me. I didn't grab it this time around, but here probably in the next week or so, I'll probably grab myself some. And for the sample portfolio for the Patreon. And so, yeah, I mean, Phantom, we're probably going to see some resistance because we have a lot of buying activity above the price of where we are. But compared to, okay, so another way to look at things of where coins have been in this cycle. So bear market and all, it's called an over and under. Are you over or under the midline compared to everybody else who's bought in this coin in this cycle? The easiest way is you take the top, you get the whole bear market, and all you gotta do is just draw a sideways channel. And the beautiful part here on TradingView, let me see if I can find it. So let me see. Okay, so let me see if I can find the sideways channel. Because I had it in my quick tabs, but for some reason it's not there. Or we can do, oh, here we go. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So draw a sideways channel. Boom. Okay. From top to bottom. Now you just ask yourself, am I above or below the midline? So people that got caught way outsides, and all you gotta do is take the top from the low. And after you kind of solidify this low, right? So definitely in here, you definitely say, okay, like, like this low is in, especially like this double tap. So these people definitely offsides because they are above the midline, first of all. So no bueno for those people. They're not feeling too good about their DCA up there. They bought a local top. These people are hurting because they bought a top of a full cycle, because they waited. They didn't start to invest in March or June of 2020 or November of 20. They wanted to wait all the way to January of 2022 or October 2021. So way too long. They bought the top. So are you at the top portion, top half or bottom half? You're at the bottom half. Now of this bottom half, where do you find yourself? So the best way to do that is do another channel. So you take the line here and then you just bring this up to that midline. And then you say, of this bottom half, am I on the bottom half of that? Is that making sense to y'all? Like, it may seem counterintuitive, but for the first time, since we're talking about the beginning of this year, we finally got to the bottom half of that here in the back end of July. So y'all tracking? So it's like, okay, cool. And then we find that we're holding some type of support and we have a green candle for this week. This is what lines up to say, okay, cool. Like, I find myself really in the lower third of price. You're going to give yourself a better chance for a better outcome versus all of these people here in beginning of 2022 and the beginning part of, or Q1 of 2024. And then so you're going to position yourself in the favorable spots by just doing this easy TA technique that I just showed you. So learn to draw some parallel channels, stuff like that, and do your due diligence in that manner. Now, we can also probably start to look at other types of channels, And so as we can see, we're ascending. So we have some touch points here. And so what we want to find out is if we can continue to stay within this box or this channel. Touch point 1, 2, 3, 4 is what's required, right? And the cool thing about it is why I see that this channel actually has some relevance, because we did have some type of resistance here at the midline, and we also have these 4 touch points. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. Now the key is this: we'll probably face some resistance, like I was saying before. So if we want to look at the volume profile, so let's get that from the top to just everything this cycle. A lot of people interacted. So, bought the coin. They probably bought this dip right here. But a lot of people are positioned, pretty good for Phantom. The beautiful part, if you notice, we don't have a whole lot of in the way. Like, there's not like a whole lot of price action or people interacting with it above $1. So we're at 35 cents. So to get to $1, that's a 2x. And now to get to 3, like, this is how you get to your 10x, y'all. We get to $3.50, which is just barely, that's really getting to the all-time high. That's how you clock in a 10x in crypto, So clear skies, and this coin is in the top 100. I want to say, let's actually look on CoinGecko. So CoinGecko, and it's a main chain. It is the first EVM. So Phantom, let's find Phantom. Where's the market cap for Phantom? Dog with hat. Yep. I've been thinking about it. Probably pick some of that up too. So 75, 73. This past week, it's up 20%. So yeah, if you're a believer in Phantom, probably a good thing to consider. As we talked about, 90% for Sui. We got Say up 32%. Dog with hat, woof woof. my favorite meme coin of them all, up 30% in the last week. So pretty good. And Phantom, in the past week, it's clocking top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's number 9. So all relevant topics, all relevant coins that we're talking about, and nothing is super degen here. Like everything that I've mentioned as far as in the top 100. So, interesting thing. So I've been buying Phantom for a long time, especially around $2 area. Got it down to an average of 47 cents now. Still down though. Yeah, but you got to give yourself time. When it was at $2, you're probably, kind of going back to this chart. When's the last time it was at $2? So you're just, a part of this, and that's just part of it. Everybody learns at the top of the bull run if you came into crypto at this time. But, at $2, you're just like literally $2 and above. Let's just pinpoint that. So you're a part of the small minority who bought majority of your Phantom, or a good portion of your Phantom here. But the best part of what you did was you did the right thing, because you plan on sticking with this asset and you got your cost basis much down. And then so if we go through that sideways channel, you got yourself under the midline of the sideways channel at 47 cents. So that's a beautiful thing, right? And I encourage you to continue to try to get that cost basis lower, since we are below 47 cents. So good on you for making that good move. You'll be happy because you can actually off a 47 cent average, and we get even back to those all-time highs. So even if we want to do a price analysis there, you're still in really good shape. You can still clock in a 6x with that type of that DCA. And so that's a beautiful thing. So let's look into a couple things. Let's look into the fear and greed. And this is a site that's really cool because we can look at the fear and greed for the stock market. We can also look at the fear and greed for crypto. When we see them align, those are really nice. If we see some divergence, like stocks are greedy and crypto's fearful, that's like a big buy, because typically crypto will follow through time because they're going to be more risk on typically. So if that's like a really good hedge to say, hey, let me actually start looking at crypto a little bit more if it's more bearish than stocks. But as you can see, they're on par. So they're, in fear compared to 14 points compared to, a day ago, where people got pretty excited, but now they're back bearish again. Now they should be a little excited again because of why? We're having a little mini altcoin pump. But this is what you want to do. You want to be buying your crypto in extreme fear and fear. And that's why, I coded it up to just, plot it right here on the chart for us. So, we don't have to guess or go to all these different websites. We can just get it all right here. So let me go to the invite only scripts. So boom, we can just, pop it up and we're good. And so on the weekly, right, we had a first time, even on the weekly, that we've come down this low. And so that's a very, very nice opportunity that we finally hit all these prerequisites to say, okay, this is a good value range. But especially on the daily, we're at 13. And so we got all the way down to what? 1, so once again, we don't get down that low that often. So if we do, alongside with a lot of other metrics, we want to use the methodology to decide on when we do a DCA. So that's pretty good. But back to the site, it's pretty cool because, we're seeing green throughout everything. We're seeing technology, we're seeing real estate, industrials, healthcare, all in the green, energy up 1%, NVIDIA having a day as well. And so that's a positive thing. Now, the key thing of why I like this site is because it's actually giving us some very, very important dates. Now, it's important to know that markets move based upon, yes, speculation, but positioning due to what they think the economy is going to look at, not today, but in 12 to 18 months. And so the CPI inflation report is actually coming here in 2 days, so on Wednesday. So if that inflation report shows to be negative and it goes down to 2.9 or whatever, goes lower, I think people will be excited about that. And if they're excited about that, then they say, hey, maybe we can go a little bit more risk on, and we got rate cuts coming. And so being positioned before those dates, that's why you think about it. That's why people are probably taking some of those bets today. That's why we see some altcoins just going, because they might have some inside information, or people just kind of have a feeling that, things might be favorable for markets due to this major event with the CPI inflation reading. And so these are very important to track and pay attention. But then I would say we have 2 inflation readings and then that next Fed meeting. So really, really, we want to see how this market react before this point, and that'll tell us a lot. Before September 17th, that's going to be the next Fed meeting. So, and I think, so I think day 3 actually. So it's going to be the 19th. We have to check the CME. But yeah, so that's coming up next month. We don't have one this month. Look at the heat map, a lot of green. So once again, altcoins are performing better than Bitcoin on a relative basis. Let's refresh that. So get the current data. So yeah, Ethereum up 4.2 compared to 1.5% for Bitcoin. Solana up 3.7, but same thing. Please do not sleep on Solana. It is gonna be part of the big 3. Y'all know how, that whole rap beef where it was like Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole took them off about the big 3, and then Kendrick's like, nah, man, F the big 3. It's just big me. Like, I have a feeling that Solana's gonna basically say that and do that. It's kind of been doing that this cycle, so don't slack on that. Okay, so other key data that we have coming up. So we have the PPI inflation. That's tomorrow. We already talked about the CPI. The jobless claims is on Thursday. The retail sales coming up. All of this stuff is coming this week. So action-packed economic week. I want to say Walmart is doing their earnings, some other companies. And so, yeah, we're going to see how things shake out. I'm very much looking forward to seeing just the process of the rest of this year. I really think that, with some clarity, hopefully with this electoral candidate race, we may start to be able to see some positive things for crypto. And this is funny because I definitely woke up this morning and was like, oh, I felt the same way for some of these alts that I'm like, man, what's going on here? And so that's what it's like to have conviction. And then this is, you feeling that good green candle for your portfolio. It's a beautiful thing. All right. So, but now just be careful of all the memes and when there's a lot of enjoyment, that's when all the crap comes out. So just be careful on what y'all are doing. Okay. That's a very, very important thing. All right. What I'm going to do, let me try to pull those receipts up. Soulless Kendrick, Ton is, what he said? He said, Soulless Kendrick, Ton is that coming artist waiting to shine. Yeah, Tom might be the up and coming artist. We're gonna find out though. We're gonna see. Let's do this. I'm gonna put myself back on screen in the background. Let me get these receipts for us so I can kind of show you a little bit of how it goes down on the sample portfolio DCAs. So I'm gonna pull them up. Here we go. So let's check it out. All right. So yes, we actually really do buy the dip. Like it's no guess how we get down over here. We do buy the dip. Now, with that being said, let's see here. Let me see if I can put myself back up. All right. So we have a buy on Solana, and we got to blur out that payment method, personal information. But this is just an easy. I'm talking about you go bare bones basic using Coinbase, right? Easy to use stuff where people can understand. So $100 buy, and look at this time, 9:12 a.m. August 5th, right? So boom, August 5th, that capitulation, took advantage of it. We may not see $126 Solana, who knows, for another 3, 4, 6 months or ever. We'll find out. or we could go lower. But the thing is, I don't care either way. I'm just trying to get a piece of the pie as I see things unfolding. So $126 buy for Solana. Got me 0.8 Solana almost. Pretty good. So nice for the sample portfolio. Now from there, we got that Ondo buy. So Ondo, once again, this is a bet on BlackRock. And this is like the minute after, right? I seen the capitulation. 61 cents. So I want to say it's that, like, I seen it got up to 80 cents not too long ago. So yeah, $100 buy there gets you 164 Ondo. So that's pretty good. And then once again, Sui, $100 buy into Sui at 67 cents. This is on the 2nd. So 9:48 on August 2nd. And yeah, so those were the DCAs. These are receipts. Just took the screenshots from the sample portfolio Coinbase account, and yeah, like this is what it looks like. I did a DCA into PulseX and Ink. When was that? Well, let's actually, because I want to take a moment to show y'all the body of work that we're crafting and putting together here on the Patreon. So let's actually go take a look. I might be able to play an excerpt of the Patreon. Let's see. And that's only for the paid members in there. So we had a DCA there. Okay. And let's take a look. So we had an on-chain data dump that we did the other day. We had so the day before the capitulation, right? I had a video out for those that are in the Patreon and whatnot. So a lot of just a lot of value. But here's a video, post-chain ecosystem. Let's actually play this, and we'll maybe backdate it and go to the chart and see how good of a buy that was at the time.
July 11th. We're doing some DCAs here. So I'm DCAing.
Check it out.
Into a couple things. So I'm DCAing into the Ink token, PulseX, and PulseChain. So we got $100 going into Ink. So let's get that done.
We're going all the way through talking about how to, use the MetaMask and connecting it.
So
and
all that going into the Ink token. Let's also put $100 into Pulse. So this is gonna be the example account here, you guys, as we are trekking through this market. Obviously this ain't my main account, but I'm gonna be just throwing some change here and there throughout this market. A couple $100 here, a few $100 there every week or so, or a few weeks. And this is what it looks like to just be an active investor in the cryptocurrency market. So let's do $100 into Pulse.
Okay, so y'all get the gist.
Big downtrend on this,
and once again pulled up the chart as well.
78% reduction.
So we're doing some TA while we're doing our DCAs. I really encourage people, before you just buy, actually look at the chart first, right? And then so at the time, Ink was at $2. We did a nice DCA into PulseX and Pulse and all that good stuff, right? And then so found some local lows, but we're talking, what was this, like July 13th potentially? So let's actually check that date. Let's see here. So I want to say it's July 13th, somewhere within July 11th. So let's check out PulseChain during that time and say, hey, how was that DCA? All right, so let's go to Rat Pulse. And we got some lower price action, but for the relevant time, that was on the 11th. And then so that was this candle here. So right there. And so I most likely, we'll, probably do another little DCA again. Because why not? It's a great ecosystem coin. Now, what I'm going to be doing a video on, so I'm going to get off a stream here. Immediately after this, I'm going to be talking about how to compare different coins. The key about being able to do a ratio is very, very important. I know a lot of people maybe don't understand it. I'm gonna do a private, video for those in the Patreon explaining how to, compare your coin to the broader altcoin market. Then you can compare it to Bitcoin, compare it to ETH, sum that up, take your two similar coins. So I would say like, Say and Celestia, they're similar chart pattern. Notice that they tend to operate differently under certain times. And so when should I go for this one versus that one? But both of them are pretty good. Like, how do you make these decisions? And we can use all this with the concept of doing ratios. So I highly suggest you guys, you can even start free, but the Patreon is a beautiful place to learn. I'm really, really big on this education piece. But, once again, we can even throw the hatter on this. Let me see here. And we'll probably get a buy signal here coming up once we see that this down draw dwindles down and we see some momentum to the upside. And so that's what I'll be looking for. Let's put this on the 3-day. And definitely if we get something on the 3-day, definitely a DCA moment. But I'm going to wait for that. So, a lot of good stuff, you guys. Definitely continue your efforts and your learning. This is a benefit to you as an investor. Don't be that person that just wants to invest once or twice and hope it goes well. Don't hope, ensure by putting in the work. And that's what I'm here to be an advocate of every single day that I stream. So, it's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Let's see here. All right. So I'm just kind of ready to take some final thoughts. And if we don't have anything, then we'll jump off and we'll come back another day. Let's see here. Is that how you structure all DCAs, even clips on every buy? No. So for the sample portfolio, I'm just keeping it bare bones basic, $100 here, but sometimes I weight it depending on what portion of the portfolio I want to stack more of, or sometimes based upon market cap. And so, for example, I'm always putting more, just me. I'm always putting more money into larger market cap things than smaller market cap things, just because I understand risk and risk reward and volatility. I still am getting exposure to lower market cap stuff, but that's a small portion of my portfolio compared to some of these larger players that I have, So, that's kind of giving an example. But cool, you guys. So once again, thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, put a comment down in the comment section and we can talk about it. Or might as well just jump into Patreon. The link is in the description. So, do your thing out there. Go make that money. Stack it up. Stay confident. Understand that this is a process. Time is going to be your best friend. And don't lose faith. Faith is a thing that a lot of people don't have these days. If you have faith in your process and you have faith in what you learn, you develop a skill set as an investor. And if you haven't built that skill set, keep watching these videos. I promise you'll get it. And this is a beautiful thing because investing is a solo sport at the end of the day. You don't got to listen to me. You ain't got to listen to nobody. It's all based upon what you know and how you utilize what you know. And you take action on what you know. And that's the key. Markets are going to go up more than they go down. Bare bones basics. They're going to keep making more money. You need to get in where you fit in. Find the assets that are going to prepare you faster than others. There's real estate. There's stocks. There's bonds. There's fine wine. There's car collecting. There's commodities. There's all kinds of stuff. Trading cards. Plenty of options. You got to find the ones that are going to give you the best opportunity to get to your goals. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe it's to finally put that down payment for a house. It can be many things. Whatever your goals are, find a horse or find a batch of horses that can get you there a little bit more expeditiously versus just trying to say, oh, well, let me just work and save my money and I hope that things go well. Hope is not a strategy, you guys. Okay, so with that being said, I appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next video. All right, peace.